Hey friends, what's up? I'm Connie, back in the house once again from Nicaragua, but it's the last time. It's my last day here. I'm flying out to Germany mañana, tomorrow, and right now I am in a airport hotel, I guess you call this, just for one night, just kind of taking care of some business stuff. I flew back in from the Corn Islands this morning. You know, just kind of taking advantage of a nice fancy hotel that I'm treating myself with, and just had my first hot shower after about 6 weeks, I believe. That was quite nice, even though I expected it to be a bit more amazing. I had a hot shower in my hand or something.
Disconnected. Ready to pair.
Well, I'm glad my Bose speakers are talking to me. I had the experience of a hot shower in my head as something mind-blowing, which is what you do when you don't have something. And then I just realized while I was in the shower, naked, dancing, that, you know, cold showers, not that big of a deal. But anyway, that's not the topic today. I wanted to talk to you guys about this whole topic of being an introvert or being an extrovert. Maybe I'm both. An ambivert. I've been thinking about this a lot the last few days because I've been on my little romantic getaway with me, myself, and I. And so I wanted to share my thoughts, my experiences around that. Let's do it. But I want you to come closer. You're way too far away. I don't know what I was thinking. Let's do it. How is this? How's that? How we going? Looking pretty fly. All right. So here's the thing. I grew up as an extrovert. In my family, it wasn't really a good thing to be an introvert. Being an introvert was looked down upon. It was judged as boring or, you know, not interesting. So for me, my belief was, I have to be an extrovert. I have to be outgoing and talk a lot and be surrounded by a lot of people all the time, so that I feel, for one, worthy and that I can fit in, and because that's what's expected of me. And so that's what I did for most of my life. I would be trying really hard to have a lot of friends and to be very social and very outgoing. Over the years, though, I realized that I would feel really drained and exhausted a lot after being surrounded by a lot of people or after spending a lot of time with someone else. And then it would take me a while to come back into my own energy and really arrive back at home with myself, where I'd feel comfortable being on my own again. But once I was there, I really enjoy being on my own and not talking to people and just doing my own thing. And you know, as a child growing up and even as a teenager, I remember I have all these memories of myself where I was in my room doing stuff for hours and creating things and just not caring about a thing, not needing to be with anybody. I just really enjoyed my own company. Yeah, but for some reason I totally lost that. So I was raised as an extrovert, but over the last 3, 4, 5 years, the more I understood what it means to practice self-care and self-love, and as I was on this journey home to myself, I guess, I actually realized that there's this big part of myself that's an introvert. And because I realized, once I started reading up on this whole thing of being an introvert, being an extrovert, when you're an introvert, you recharge your batteries on your own. I need a lot of time to be on my own, to be by myself, and that's when I recharge. That's when my batteries get refilled. And then I have the energy to go out and surround myself with people and be productive and be creative. But it's also been quite a long journey because I used to not enjoy being on my own. I couldn't actually enjoy solitude because and this is the dilemma that I faced, is that I needed that time on my own, but I had a hard time being on my own, being alone, because then it was really easy for me to feel lonely. And so this is a really fine line of, you know, enjoying your solitude, enjoying being alone, not feeling lonely. So that was a long process for me to arrive at a point where now, these days, I love being on my own. I totally enjoy it. I barely ever feel lonely, ever. And when I do, I know that there's a part of me that I'm not giving attention to, and so, either I meditate or I do something for my little child, for the little Connie. And so I just, I've learned tools and techniques to take care of myself now when I do feel lonely. And in that way, I can really enjoy this introverted side of me and embrace it and accept it and just accept myself for who I am, which is definitely a good mix of being an introverted extrovert or an extroverted introvert, whichever way you want to look at it. Because I definitely also am an extrovert. I definitely enjoy being around people for, a certain amount of time, and I am generally quite social. It's quite easy for me to engage in a conversation or to open up to somebody, or, I don't mind approaching people, doing some small talk. However, actually, I'm the best when I'm with one person or two people, maybe maximum of 3. That's when I feel like I can really give attention to whoever is here. I can be super present. I feel really grounded. Once there's more people, I get really scattered and I sometimes withdraw more because I get overwhelmed really easily. And I guess that's where that introverted side comes out again, because when I sit at a big table with loads and loads of people and there's all these conversations, I can take that for a couple of hours and then usually I have to go home. But when there's one person, 2 people or 3 people, I can really just go all in. So that's how I work best, and it took me a very long time to really figure out how my operating system works and what's good for me and what's not so good for me, and really take care of myself in all these different situations that we find ourselves in life. And so I try to navigate the world and my everyday life and stuff with this compass of, does this feel good? Am I feeling grounded? And when I feel grounded, that's when I know, okay, I'm in a good place. This is where I need to be. This is awesome. When I don't feel grounded, when I feel scattered or overwhelmed, that's a good sign for me to take care of this introverted side of myself, to maybe just excuse myself and go home, or just spend more time by myself and just be totally okay with that without judging myself. And that's a really big one, actually. It's to not judge yourself for being who you are, for not being as social as other people, because I would sometimes feel like, what's wrong with me, like, why can't I be like all these people who are so social and constantly around all their friends and hanging out with awesome people, and I need all this time on my own. And so that has been really a bit of a challenge until I got to the point where I started to just accept who I am, and that it's totally okay to be that way, and to retreat into myself, and then have that time when I'm ready to then go out again and totally fully be present with other people in social situations. So this past month that I spent in this digital nomad house, being surrounded by 15 or 20 people, there was always something going on, and that was something that was pretty cool for about a week or so. Even though I could feel from the very beginning that, I'm not sure how long I can take it. And then after about 2 weeks, I realized it's getting too much for me. I'm not feeling grounded. There was just too much going on. I was hiding in my room a lot. I just really didn't feel like I was having enough of my own space where I could kind of really let my energies flow. I didn't feel as creative or inspired. It was really interesting. And then so I decided to then go on this little Connie quality time romantic getaway to the Corn Islands for a few days, and that was the best decision ever. However, I noticed that as I left the house in San Juan and I was on the shuttle to the airport in Managua, I could feel that it was feeling strange to be on my own again and to not constantly have this background noise of, 15 or 20 people. And it was almost as though I was coming off a drug and the drug is social connection. And then suddenly you're cut off. That's it. And I knew I was gonna be on my own for the next few days. And even though I know that I really enjoyed that and that's what I needed, it was a bit weird to glide into that space. And so it took me a few hours, and I recognized this feeling because I've felt this before many times where, you know, for a few days or maybe a few weeks, you're constantly surrounded by someone, maybe friends or maybe a partner, a lover, and you're constantly in this shared space of energy. And then suddenly you cut off, you say goodbye, you're on your own again, and you have to sort of really come back into, you know, ground down. And so it doesn't freak me out anymore. It used to a lot. Whereas these days, I'm pretty good. I'm just like, okay, this is where you're at right now. It's this phase after you're disconnecting from people. And so yeah, it took me a few hours. But once I came back into my own space and my own vibe and energy, I was like, oh yeah, baby, this is awesome. I love it. And then I arrived on the Corn Islands. I had this cute little room. It was wonderful. And then I basically spent about 24 hours or longer not talking to anybody. And then I met these really cool girls. I think it was maybe on my second day, and they were super funny, and we had an amazing time just laughing really hard, you know, until you cry, until your stomach hurts. It was really awesome, and I really enjoyed that encounter so much because I had recharged my batteries. I was ready again to invest them into interactions and connections, and it also came at the right time because as much as I enjoyed being on my own, there were a lot of couples, and as much as I love seeing happy couples, but it's also a bit weird when you're single on your own, you know. But anyway, it came at the right time, and I just hung out with these girls, and yeah, definitely hope I'm gonna meet those ladies again. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Those were the thoughts I've been having and that I felt like I needed to share, because I believe there's a lot more people out there who are a bit confused with this whole extroverted, introverted thing, because there is not one extreme or the other. There is a huge space in between where it's just all gray, you know, gray zone. And there's nothing wrong or right or bad or good about one or the other. It's just, you know, whatever floats your boat. It's all about accepting who we are and connecting with ourselves and feeling into what we need at any given point in time. And once I've learned how to do that, yeah, wow, I feel like the quality of my life and my happiness and my confidence has just skyrocketed, to be honest. So, what's the question of the day? And my question of the day, of course, is, what are you? Are you more introverted, more extroverted? Are you an ambivert like I am? Someone who's basically in between, is a bit of both? Let me know in the comments, I'd love to hear. And yeah, what else? I'm flying home to Germany tomorrow. Wow. This is actually really cool. I'm really looking forward to it. The last time I was home was beginning of November. Is that like 6 months ago or so? Yeah, I was only there for maybe 10 days. This time I'm in Germany for about 2 or 3 weeks, got a lot of stuff going on. Family, friends, conferences, events. Gonna try to keep it as chilled out as possible, hopefully too. Yeah, I've got some ideas for videos I'm gonna make when I'm in Germany. Awesome. Until then, my friends, give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed my video. Subscribe to my channel. Just stay true to yourselves, guys, really. That's all. That's all I want to say. All right, party people, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out. Bye.